Prismo is a cosmic entity who sits in the center of the Adventure Time multiverse in a dimension that exists outside of time called the Time Room. Prismo's job as a wishmaster is to grant wishes and give mortals one opportunity to have the reality that they seek. In the episode Finn the Human, the Lich traveled to said Time Room to make a wish to Prismo in order to eradicate all life. And despite achieving his goal, Finn and Jake were now in the Time Room as well and got to make their own wishes. Finn wished for the Lich to have never existed, which created one of these new wish-altered realities, with this one being called the Farm World. In this universe, Simon stopped the mushroom bomb through the ice powers of the crown. Later on, Finn's hometown was being overrun by bandits known as the Destiny Gang, and in order to stop them, Finn decided to put on the crown. But due to this, he would become insane and accidentally set off the mushroom bomb with a spike of ice. Farm World Jake would then be used as a host for the Lich, but as the original Jake was still in the Time Room, he was now able to make his own wish, which would be to save Finn. But by this point, Prismo had actually taken a liking to Jake and told him what he should wish for, which was to change the Lich's wish to send Finn and Jake back home to Ooh. In doing that works, but it doesn't change the fact that the Farm World universe does exist. Now jumping to the season 7 episode titled Crossover, which takes place about 1 year after the events that transpired in season 5. By this point, Farm World Finn had entrapped all the humans in ice and teamed up with the Lich to enter the multiverse. Prismo states that if they succeed, it could be catastrophic to the overall structure of the multiverse, which Prismo somewhat created and is in charge of. But someone else is also in charge, having more power than even Prismo. His boss. Prismo states that if Farm World Finn does succeed in his goal, is that he will be held responsible, and by proxy, Finn and Jake would be in the dip too. Finn and Jake then enter the Farm World universe and foil their plans by knocking the crown off Farm World Finn and kill the Lich using a weapon called the Maid. Finn and Jake are then sent back to the Time Room, but Finn insists on helping him as he will always be messed up as long as the crown is around. And so Prismo edits their timeline and makes it so the crown gets evaporated by the mushroom bomb. Okay, so now we understand Prismo's powers and that his boss would do something if he were to mess up. And now jumping years later into the Fiona and Cake episode titled Prismo the Wishmaster, we find out that Prismo created Fiona and Cake and has been hiding this unauthorized universe so his colleagues and boss wouldn't find out. As if he did, he states that his boss would bring the hammer down on him, whatever that could imply. Regardless, one of the employees in the organization that Prismo works for does find out. This being the Scarab, who has the title called God Auditor, and has the duty of making sure all cosmic entities stay in line, showing that possibly all cosmic entities work under this organization. In order to tell the boss, it seems he first has to get permission from his higher-up known as Orbo. The Scarab states that Orbo is not the boss, but just the boss of him. But as Orbo likes Prismo, he doesn't allow the Scarab to make said call and uses his power of separating him into pieces and putting him back together now in Orbo's world, where Orbo says that he can state his case. But after the boss calls, Scarab decides to give his case to him instead. The boss then allowed him to chase Fiona and Cake to abolish them and their world, which isn't supposed to exist. But by the end of the Fiona and Cake finale, the world gets canonized somehow. Whether by the wishes everyone was given or by Gulb, who also made an appearance in this episode, we really don't know, but it still happened. Thus, the Scarab is unable to destroy the world and got a call from his boss for trying to do so when it is a part of the multiverse. He is seemingly then punished by being turned into the janitor of Prismo's room. So here's what we know. Prismo works for an organization under the same boss as possibly all other cosmic entities. The ones with main roles shown were the Scarab and Orbo, who both seemingly are higher up in ranking than Prismo. But this is still insufficient knowledge to actually have an answer as to who the boss is. But there is an interesting theory. In Come Along With Me, we enter a flashback to Simon reading a page in a book about gold. But right next to this page is a creature called Malice. And written around it looks like the word Abraxas, which is a Gnostic deity almost identical to the one on the page. And underneath it is an Ouroboros snake, which represents the cycle of life, which is a very common theme that is presented in Adventure Time. Abraxas also has these snakes on his feet. Abraxas is the source of divine emanation, which basically means he's in charge of cosmology and philosophical systems. And he is also the ruler of the heavens, which I found interesting as when the Scarab received a call from the boss, the phone had wings on it, which were very similar but a little different to the ones that were shown in Together Again, which took place in the Dead Worlds. Regardless, Malice was next to Gulb, showing there is either a higher or similar power to Gulb. And we also know that Prismo's organization consists of cosmic entities only, and Malice, or Abraxas, is literally in charge of cosmology. So this theory is honestly the most likely answer. There are also some theories like Giuseppe being the boss because the word malice is a scientific name of apple tree. And in this episode, he picked an apple tree and also showed his cosmic power. And in the episode Friends Forever, on one of the wizards who witnessed this death, there is a note that says the word Abraxas on it. And surprisingly enough, at the end of Fiona and Cake, there's an after credit scene where we see a yellow cube and a red pyramid, or the Time Room and Gulb transform into an apple. This could have nothing to do with it, but I thought that was interesting and another possible reason for this to be the case. But that's about all the information available at this time to theorize over to my knowledge, but let me know down in the comments if you have any ideas on who Prismo's boss could be or if I missed anything. But until the next video, peace out.